something cold again. Ribena, water, or orange juice.
I don't want to pee pee now.
Ribena.
Like apple juice.
Got orange, apple juice, you got orange juice.
London này.
Or Ribena.
Bang về London này.
You got nothing in. What Ribena or water is your choice? Frank, what do you want? Water? Ribena?
Big Ben behind. Big Ben behind. Baby, where Big Ben? Show mommy. Big Ben behind. Anh đi London này, London này. Baby, where Big Ben? Big Ben đã behind yeah? Yeah. Quen hòa quá. Ui. Oh my god, go.
Yeah, can I get two still waters, please? Yeah. And a Ribena.
Two stills. And then a Ribena. Yep. There.
Yeah, that's it.
Tapi look mommy.
Still waters in the Ribena.
Where London này? London Eye อยู่ไหนนี่อันนั้น Big Ben นี่ London Eye here The head ป๊าป๊า Circle นี่ London Eye
Oh.
Yeah ทิงช้าสวรรค์
That one
ฮะ Why come in here อ๋อ turn around เหรอ
We're getting people in here. We're not stopping here.
อ๋อ get the people in here
We stopped in Tower of London.
up there for
Look, there's people in the food.
pick up someone
Like a really slow one, Patrick.
this one slow one yeah
See how slow it's moving, Patrick?
But Dad, they're going to be in there forever.
Yeah, well, people go in there so they can look at the view.
Fang baby where Big Ben Big Ben where yeah Big Ben there
I can see that.
Big Hawk then where London Eye where London Eye London Eye look like big circle where is it here yeah up here and see
See that catch? Pull that up.
Oh, okay.
Breaks the white thing and you can slide it open and close.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Dad.
There you go. So you slide it back.
No.
Bring it back. That's it. There you go.
I don't know
I read it last night.
who did one honey baby
You wanted a water. I asked you wanted Ribena, you said no. You said you wanted water.
yeah can be half ลูกให้น้องกินด้วยให้แบ่งให้พี่ฟ้างกินด้วย
Yeah, I asked you, you wanted Ribena, you said no. Don't get over the top.
don't start ฟ้าง
Do you want a Ribena? Do you want me to get you a Ribena?
นี่เงาอ่ะมึงเอาฟ้าง
Here now.
never good enough บอจับมันโยนน้ำมึงอ่ะเฮ้ย don't do that don't do this พี่อ่ะนี่get hold this one and no don't touch ดิ้งขีดดิ้งYeah, okay, good. Don't touch it. Okay, now the unit hurt pee, okay? Bang can drink some. You don't touch it, one touch in here, then the water not come out. Look, just one hand in here. Water not come in your coat, okay? Mommy want no big baby.
asked you wanted one. You said no. No. I said Ribena. You know what a Ribena is?
London Eye Liverpool สิป๊าป๊า
Oh, look. Cool, isn't it?
Look, that one London Eye go slow, yeah. But people look the view. I go there, I think I will cry. Make me sick.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, but I don't wanna go.
What's wrong, Frankie?
Frankie, look, mommy. Just touch it one, look. Touch it one. Just one hand. And ding. No, one hand. Not that one. Ding. Not this hand away. Ah, ding đi. Just cry for nothing. Big pin, baby, big pin. The big hawk, yeah? Good boy. Bên này á. They go back again.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
What he said?
Welcome aboard this vessel on the Lady of Dawn for our trip down river to the Tower and some of you on to Greenwich. Now, as we leave the piers here in London, we are then obliged under maritime law just to give you all a short safety announcement. Now, this isn't done to alarm anybody, it is just something we need to do by law, and it's just to familiarise you with this vessel and to let you know that we are fully up to date. We are fully compliant with all life-saving and firefighting equipment. This comes mainly in the form of fire extinguishers, which you will find in the lower saloon. These are all clearly marked with the international green and white signs. We also carry enough life jackets on board for every individual in the highly unlikely events of any type of incident or emergency. All we ask is that you remain calm, remain seated if possible, and await instructions that will be given to you by a fully qualified member. As I said, not done to alarm you, just something we need to do by law. However, if I have alarmed anybody, there is a fully licensed bar situated in the lower saloon. Now that's out of the way, on the way down to the tower, we do pass by one or two places of historic interest. Unfortunately, the owners of these vessels, or the operators, do not pay to have tour guides on board these boats. There are no official tour guides on these boats. Instead, they give you a leaflet at the time you purchase your ticket. On that leaflet, there is a QR code.
What he said?
What the company would like you to do with your phone is scan that QR code. This will take you through to the City Experiences app. And now you can download an automated commentary in around 15 different languages. Now, having said that, we the crew, we know from experience, by the time it takes most of you to download this app and get through to that automated commentary, we would have already reached our destination. And you would have simply sat there in silence and taken a mission joy. So So today there is a few of you up here on the top deck, the sun is out. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to stand out here with you and try and point some of these places of interest out. The first thing I must point out, of course, is that we are not professional guides. We're not commentators, we're not guides, we don't claim to be any of these things. Me and my colleague Dan, who's driving the boats, we're both licensed Thames watermen, we're both captains, and we are here for your safety and your safety only. Also, I do not speak 15 different languages. I only speak the one which is the London version of English, and sometimes I struggle. But what I'll do, I'll talk nice and slowly, and hopefully everybody will be able to understand.
Oh, that needed one different.
So we go. The first place over here to our right is, of course, this magnificent building, the Houses of Parliament, which incorporates Big Ben. The proper name for that building is the New Royal Palace at Westminster. Opened in the 1860s, it stands on the site of the old Timber Parliament building, which stood there for 800 years before burning down in a fire. Now this means there has been a Parliament building on this site for nearly 1,000 years. The main feature of the building is, of course, here at the eastern end, and it is the clock tower known throughout the world as Big Ben. The proper name for that tower is the Queen Elizabeth Tower. The Big Ben is only the name of the 13.5 ton bell which chimes on the hour only. Quarter past, half past, and quarter to bells are the Westminster chimes. So you can actually hear Big Ben now. The next bells you hear at quarter past will be the Westminster chimes.
Turn
Now,
around
as
your
we
face.
turn the vessel
Turn
around,
your
we
face.
will be heading down River,
Patrick, turn around your face.
easterly direction. As we
Patrick,
do
turn around your
this, we are
face.
straightening the boat up. Here to our
Yeah,
right,
you
another large
can see you
impressive
with
building
big one.
with the green spire. This is County Hall, former headquarters of the
Have the pen too.
GLC, the
Baby, look,
Greater
keรื่องบิน
London Council.
Baby, big pen up
Formed in the
there. Look.
mid-1920s, later abolished in 1986. The building was empty for many years, and in more recent years, it's gone on to house tourist attractions such as the London Underground, Shreks Adventure, and the London Aquarium. But keep looking to the right, and you see the large Ferris wheel. This is, of course, the London Eye, put there in 1999. In readiness for our millennial celebration in 2000. The wheel is 450 feet high. It has 32 of those glass capsules. Each one of those capsules represents a London borough, as there are indeed 32 London boroughs which make up Greater London as a whole. Here to the left, behind the trees, the Gothic style building. This is number 1 Whitehall Court Mansions. Those were the first riverside apartments ever to be built on the banks of the River Thames. It was the one-time home of Lloyd George and the Liverpool Club. Today it houses the 5-star All-Stars Hotel. The first bridge we will pass beneath today is the Charing Cross Railway Bridge. This bridge feeds Charing Cross train station, which is over there to the left, all within that futuristic building. Now, in a moment, once we pass beneath this very busy and it's very noisy rail system, as we pass through the bridge, if you then look to your right,
Before you say bye-bye, your friend,
you will see the glass-fronted building, the Royal Festival Hall. Last remaining building from the 1951 Festival of Great Britain. There is a concert hall. It's said to have the finest acoustics of any concert hall anywhere in the world, and it's fully soundproof owing to the noisy rail system which runs parallel.
the boat, how much is it?
Here to the left on the river's wall itself, you see the 2 black Egyptian sphinxes. They are guarding that stone column. That column is Cleopatra's Needle. It's over 3,500 years old. It was carved out in ancient Egypt, later presented to this country by a grateful Egyptian government to commemorate Nelson's defeat over the French at the Battle of the Nile. These stone obelisks were always carved in pairs. The twin to this one still survives today, and it can be found in Central Park, New York. This next bridge, often referred to as the Ladies' Bridge, and it is the longest and widest bridge to span this section of the River Thames. It is the Waterloo Road Bridge, built throughout the war years of 1939 to 1945, so mainly constructed by women, owing to the fact that most of our men, they were away fighting for king and country, hence the name the Ladies' Bridge. So as we pass through the Ladies' Bridge, look to our left, you see this large building with the green dome on the roof. This is Somerset House. Built in 1715 as a home for the Duke of Somerset, he never had the privilege of living in that building, as he was found guilty of treason and beheaded on Tower Green. Up until fairly recent, the building had been used as government offices. So if we now look to the right, in complete contrast, we have this concrete brown monstrosity with the illuminated sign. Now that, believe it or not, is our National Theatre, or National Theatres. It has 3 theatres all within the one building, including the 1,400-seater Video Theatre. Now, I'm sure you'll all agree with me, this building is rather unsightly. Well, King Charles, he would agree too. And you know, he's actually on record as saying that this building is the ugliest thing he's ever seen. There's a man who knows 1 or 2 things about ugly buildings, of course. Buildings. Over here to our left, this white ship, very old ship indeed, she's called the HMS Wellington. She's actually a former sloop from the New Zealand Navy. She's been over there now for about 70 years, and up until around 2 years ago was a floating livery hall for the Honourable Company of Master Mariners. As we pass by the ship, look on the river's wall, see the small stone arch and the face. The face is of Old Father Thames, and the arch is called Temple Arch. It does in fact mark an official boundary line between the 2 cities. The city of Westminster, we just left, and the city of London, we've now entered. Now the city of London is one of the smallest capital cities in the world. It measures an area of just 1 square mile, often referred to as the Magic Mile. As being one of the smallest capital cities in the world, it is also said to be one of the richest. So as we make our way down River now through the city of London, keep looking to our left, coming into view the red Gothic style building with the stained glass window. It does resemble a church. It's called Style College, and it is in fact a library, housing over 3,000 rare and famous books, including Queen Victoria's personal diaries and her Bible. The bridge ahead of us, the Blackfriars Road Bridge, opened in 1869 by Queen Victoria. Notice the main supports to the bridge. Can you see they're shaped like the pulpits of a church? But they was actually put there at the express wish of Queen Victoria to commemorate the old Blackfriars Monastery, which once stood over there to our left. Now once we've passed through this bridge, okay, once we are through the bridge, then look either side of us. You will see there are red columns, okay? Now these columns are all that remain of the St Paul's Railway Bridge, designed by our Victorian engineer, Isambard Kingdom Brunel. This bridge carried the first trains across the River Thames. The bridge became unsafe owing to the weight of the more modern trains, so in 1983 the top pieces were removed. As we pass through the Blackfriars Railway Bridge, As we pass through this bridge, now look to the left, and dominating our London skyline, you see the large dome and cross on the top of St Paul's Cathedral. In fact, the dome you can see there is the second largest unsupported cathedral dome anywhere in the world, the first being on St Peter's in the Vatican City of Rome. St Paul's was, of course, Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece. It took 35 years to build and was completed in 1710. It stands 365 feet high, 1 foot for each day of the year. Here to our right, this brown brick building with the chimney, that was the old Bankside power station, opened in the late 1940s, fell into disuse in the late 1970s. It sat there derelict for many years. It is a listed building, which means it can never be demolished. In more recent years, it's gone on to house the Tate's model, which of course is a modern art gallery. And it is in fact free to enter. Once you've entered the building, you'll realise exactly why it is free. Here to the right, the white timber framed building with the small thatched roof. That is of course the New Globe Theatre, and it was all funded by the American film director Sam Wanamaker. It opened its doors in 1997, and it is a complete working replica of William Shakespeare's Theatre, which stood somewhere near this site over 400 years ago. So you can actually buy tickets, and you can go in there and see some of Shakespeare's plays being performed. Now I must warn you, if you wish to do this, it is as it would have been 400 years ago. So in the middle there is no roof, so if it rains you can get wet. There is no amplification, and there are no toilet facilities. So if you are going to see a show in this building, maybe you should ask yourself, to pee or not to pee? That is the question. As we pass through the Salt Road Bridge, here to our right and in the corner of the next bridge, you can see this old public house. That is the Anchor at Bankside. That pub dates back to 1615, and it was in the attic rooms of the pub that Shakespeare and his players would usually change and perform in their plays at the Old Globe Theatre, which we now know actually stood just over here to our right, so very close to that part of the thing. As we pass through the Cannon Street Railway Bridge, now look to the right, slightly ahead of us, you see the stern and the masts of what look to be a very old ship indeed. Have a look at the ship, and has anybody on board seen the films Pirates of the Caribbean? So have a look very closely at the ship, and you can see that that ship has nothing to do with those films whatsoever. That ship was actually built in 1971 and is a complete working replica of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Dawn. The ship over there has actually circumnavigated the globe twice. This next bridge, London Bridge. This bridge was opened by our late Queen Elizabeth II in 1973. It is the fifth London Bridge to have stood on or very close to this site. The first one was built here by the Romans over 2,000 years ago. The most famous of all the bridges was the one which stood here before this one. It was sinking into the Thames mud. In 1968, it was bought by a wealthy American. His name was Robert McCulloch. He had the bridge shipped out to America, where it now spans part of Lake Havasu in the Arizona deserts. Look to the right, look skywards, we see the glass tower. I'm sure most of you know this is called the Shard. It is there to represent a shard of glass. It's mainly a complex of offices, although it does house a hotel, a couple of restaurants, some shops and some very luxurious apartments. The building stands 1,015 feet high, and this officially makes it the tallest building in the West of Europe. Having into view on our right in a moment, you will see the large grey warship. She's codenamed C-35. This stands for Cruiser 35. Her name is the HMS Belfast. Built in the Harland and Wolff shipyards in Belfast, Northern Ireland in 1938. She was commissioned on the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939. She was in fact the largest battle cruiser ever built for the Royal Navy. Her main armament consists of 12 6-inch guns. You can see she has 6 on the front, which she has an identical 6 on the back. Each one of those guns was capable of firing a 100-weight shell a distance of 14 miles. She saw plenty of action during the Second World War and was most famously involved in the hunting down, the chasing, the shelling and the eventual sinking of the German pocket battleship Charlotte. She last fired those mighty guns in anger during the Korean campaign of the early 1950s. She's been here in the Port of London since 1972. She is a floating naval museum open to the public 7 days. Here to our left, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first stop. This is Tower Pier for all the Tower passengers. Now what we're going to do before we go into the pier, we're going to take you a bit further downriver. We'll take you as close to this next bridge as we can, and my colleagues will turn the boats, and as you then look to the right, this is where you will get the best views and the photographs of the Tower Bridge. The bridge was opened on the 30th of June 1890. Designed by Sir John Wolfe Barry, built only in this Gothic style to blend in with the more famous Tower of London. 2 central spans, you see, are known as bascules. This is a French word, and they can each be raised and lowered in a matter of 90 seconds to allow larger shipping in and out of London. The bridge also marks the eastern boundary line of the city of London, so it's often referred to as Gateway. There we go, folks, as we turn the boats, the camera's ready, this is where you will get the best photographs. Now once you have taken your pictures, by all means take your pictures. After all, that's what you're here for. But once you have done so, if I could then ask you to return to your seats. This is of course in the interest of safety. And also it allows the other passengers to get a view of this building to our right. So there we go, the Tower of London. If you look to the centre of all the different buildings, you see the tallest part in 4 turrets. That is the Norman Keep, or the White Tower, and that is the oldest part, dating back to 1078 during the reign of William. If you look around the White Tower, look at all the other walls and the towers, you will see they're all shaped a bit different. And this is because it was all added to by different reigning monarchs over the time. Now each time the Tower of London, well, it has of course been most famously a place of imprisonment, torture, but it has also been a palace, a zoo, the royal and now houses the So in a moment we will be making our way alongside Tower.